February 19th. Army camp near Vaucouleurs. This morning I awoke to visions of fire and steel. These nightmares come more often, now that I've seen my beloved France eaten away by years of war. I wandered through camp, ignoring the new snowfall, but observing the wounds and weariness of every soldier under my command. Observing the desperation in their eyes. It was then that I first saw the girl. She told us that her name was Joan. She told us she was but a peasant who did not know how to ride or fight. She told us that she intended to rescue France. The darkness lifted from the men's souls. Her voice rang with conviction, and we drank in her every word. I may have lost my faith, but Joan has not lost hers, and that is enough for me. Joan has asked our ragged band of soldiers to take her to Chinon, where the rightful ruler of France, the Dauphin, hides from his foes. The war-torn land in between is infested with enemy marauders, and we will lose many men. Death is by now an old companion, but for Joan, we will face it again.
Bonjour, Joan. My colleague and I will escort you to the chateau of the Dauphin, or else we will die trying.
I am Jean de Metz, and I will protect you with my life. You are Joan of Arc. I have heard your claims and believe what you say. We will follow you to Chinon.
Certes. Livet. Certes.
Wait! You might have need of a few archers on the road ahead.
You must be wary on the road ahead. Our enemies, the English, are out in force, and their Burgundian allies are thick as rats. Discretion is the better part of valor.
Je fais. Oh yeah. Certes. Livet.
Look out! A battle rages ahead! Stay back, lest we be caught in the crossfire. Another glorious loss for France. I hope you really can turn the tide of this war, Joan of Arc.
Certes. Oh yeah. Livet.
The bridge is out. The English must have destroyed it. We must find another way to Chinon.
Certes. Oh yeah. Da. Clear. Livet. Assault.
Highwaymen preying on helpless travelers? What has become of our homeland?
Oil.
Clear. Assault. Oh yeah. Livet. Oh yeah. Bonjour. Certes. Livet. Certes. Livet. Oh yeah. Da. Que fait? Oh yeah. Certes. Livet.
Gather your belongings, men. We follow Joan of Arc. We will carry that ram along with us. It may yet be of use.
Livet. Certes.
Que fait? Certes. Clear. Livet. Bonjour. Que fait? Prêt. Oh yeah. Da. Clear. Livet. À la bataille. Que fait?
We need a mangonel or ram to get through these walls. You French don't know when to give up!
Clear. Que fait? Prêt. Attends. Que fait? Bonjour. Certes. Livet.
An ambuscade! There are Burgundian soldiers everywhere! Hurry west to the river where we can make our escape!
Prêt. Que fait? Livet.
Chinon, we have made it.
the Chateau of the Dauphin.
Que fait? Bonjour.
Prêt, certes. Libet.
The Dauphin will see you now.
Firax.
As Joan's footsteps echoed down the marbled hall of the chateau, the fat and whispering dukes did naught but stare. The Dauphin himself seemed afraid as she kissed his feet. "My gentle Dauphin," she demanded, "why does England claim what is ours? Why are you not crowned King of France, as is your right?" The courtiers began to murmur. The Chamberlain whispered lies into the Dauphin's ear. But the Dauphin pushed the Chamberlain away and rose to meet Joan's gaze. She stands only to the shoulder of the shortest man, but all of us must look up to speak to her. I know not what silent conversation passed between the Dauphin and his would-be savior, but it was obvious that His Majesty was in the same thrall as we. March 26th, Chinon. It is one thing for a band of dispirited soldiers to put their trust in a teenage girl. It is entirely another for that girl to be given command of the army of an entire nation. We were filled with pride when we heard the Dauphin's heralds pronounce Joan the Maid as commander of the army of France. So that she may look like a general, the Dauphin presented Joan with a great war horse and a suit of white armor. Joan instructed me to look for an ancient sword buried beneath the altar of a local church. I was skeptical, but not only did the man unearth a rusted blade, but we found that the sword had belonged to Charlemagne, grandfather of France. I shall not doubt her word again. Still visible on the hilt was the fleur de lis. Joan adopted the fleur de lis as her symbol and had it blazoned upon her battle standard. Wherever Joan goes, the standard goes also. It goes with us to Orléans. The city of Orléans is one of the finest in France, but it is under siege by our enemies, England and Burgundy. It is about to fall. This war has dragged on for 100 years, with precious few French victories. The people of Orléans need a savior. They will receive Joan of Arc.
I am the Duke d'Alençon, milady. I will proudly ride with you to Orléans.
Bon chance, John.
Our city needs help. The English are coming.
Oui.
Welcome to Blois, Joan of Arc. The army of France is yours to command.
This Burgundian rebel shall not stop us.
Prêt.
Now, on to Orléans. We need to get your supplies past the English.
Joan the Maid has come. We are saved.
Rien? Oyem.
Firax. Certes. Oil.
Loire! Joan of Arc has brought us supplies. Now we can muster the forces we need to raise one of the English castles.
Rien? assault. Que fait? À la bataille. Prêt. Bien, libère. Ferme. Que fait? D'armes. Bonne joie. Bien, assaut. Prêt à la bataille. Que fait? Prêt. Que fait? À la bataille. Bien, assaut. Prêt. D'armes.
Since we are generous people, we will allow you to stay in Orleans. But France belongs to England now. Never forget that.
Joan prophesied that she would be wounded at Orleans. At the height of the battle, an arbalest bolt knocked her from her horse. He could not believe our misfortune. But as we carried Joan away from the carnage, the battle was won. Orleans was free. When we entered the city, the entire population cheered us on from windows, rooftops, and city streets. They fired artillery into the night sky and shouted aloud their nickname for Joan, La Pucelle, the Maid of Orleans. June 14th, Orleans. Our rescue of Orleans was a setback for our enemies, but only a minor one. The English still possess half of France. Tragically, we have cooled our heels for weeks, while the Dauphin's advisors debate. Joan became irritated with the delay and reassembled her army. She talks of nothing but her mission to drive the English into the sea. The force of Joan's will is titanic. She has gathered to her banner swearing brigands and knaves and turned them into patriots and heroes. Among them is the man Loire, a giant clad in plate mail. He drives men on with curses and fists. There will be plenty of English necks for Loire to break at Patay. Patay is the gateway to the Loire River Valley. The English hold the Loire in a grip of steel, whilst a huge army under Sir John Fastolf devastates the countryside. Joan leads us to Patay to capture the English castles. However, we must avoid Fastolf's army until we are strong enough to face his veterans.
Que fait? Oriel. Ohé. Certes, livré. Certes.
Kate Oil.
Que fait?
Loire wishes to kill something.
Que fait? Derax.
With these ships, we can cross the Loire River
Oriel.
and deal with any English warships we encounter.
The blood on Loire's sword is almost dry.
Prêt. Certes. Nigeria. Certes. Que fait? Assaut. Prêt. Derax. Assistant. Que fait? Certes. Libère.
Pastisor. Pastisor. Pastisor.
see how your knights fare against English longbows.
Hey. Assistant.
C'est fait. Rastissant.
Que fait? Prêt. Certes.
Ohé. Rastissant.
Que fait?
Oil. Certes.
An
Rastissant.
army of rams! How
Rastissant.
quaint!
Cueilleur, l'hiver.
Certes.
Cueilleur, à la bataille.
Prêt. Libère. Artisan.
Prêt. Que fait? Prêt. Cueilleur, certes. Oh yeah.
Kay. Pirates.
The French are attacking our castles.
Que fait? À la bataille. Cueilleur.
Enough of this! I shall deal with Joan of Arc. Methinks this peasant girl should go back to her sheep. I come for you, Joan of Arc!
Do your worst, you English fop.
Que fait? Pirax. Certes. Que fait?
Prêt. Libère. Rastissant.
I die for England!
Two English castles destroyed, we have but one more to raise.
Them English can't make a castle stronger than Loire.
Cueilleur, oh yeah. L'hiver. Prêt. Oh yeah. Que fait? Certes. Bonne joie. Bonne joie.
That's the last of them. The English will be forced to surrender the Loire Valley back to the French. Another victoire for Joan of Arc.
After Patay, the myth of English invulnerability was dispelled. Now, our army knows it is possible to win, but only if we are resolute and cunning. The English are a most deadly enemy, and their longbowmen have decimated the charge of French knights time and time again. To make matters worse, we now face enemies on both sides. The Dolphin's advisors spend more and more time wrangling, jealous of Joan's influence at court. I pray that Joan can complete her divine mission before the Dolphin's envious advisors betray her.